Welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to continue looking at square roots and cube roots. And in today's video, I'm going to look at perfect squares. So in this video, I'm going to describe what perfect squares are. And I'm also going to share with you steps you need to follow when you want to find a square root of a perfect square. And later on, I'm going to demonstrate how you can find the square root of a perfect square. So let's get started with today's video by describing what a perfect square is. Okay, so a perfect square is a number whose square root is a whole number. So a perfect square is a number whose square root is a whole number. Okay, that is a perfect square. So numbers like 2, which have got a square root which is a decimal number, they are not perfect squares. So perfect squares are those numbers which have the square root which is a whole number. Okay, so now let's look at steps you need to follow when you want to find a square root of a perfect square. So follow these steps. The first one is write the perfect square as a product of prime numbers. So you write the perfect square as a product of prime numbers. Okay. The next step is sort these prime numbers into two identical groups. Now remember, I want to find the square roots, so we're going to group them into two groups. The prime numbers we get, we'll group them into groups. Then when we do that, then we will do the next step, which is find the product. So the third step is the square root of the perfect square is the product of any of the groups. So when you put these numbers, the prime numbers you have found, the prime numbers in the expression you have found, you put them into groups. When you put them into groups, then you find the product of each group. Then one of the product from the groups is the square root of the perfect square given. Okay, once you do that, then what you need to do, so you just have to write it as a square root of the given number. So that these are the three steps you need to follow when you are trying to find the square root of the perfect squares. Okay, now let me demonstrate how you do it. Okay, so here's the question: find the square root of 441. 441 is the perfect square, so we want to find a square root of 441. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write 441 here. Then I'm going to do the first step, even if it has got many steps for me to achieve or for me to write this number as a product of prime numbers. So when I reach that stage, I'll also show you that I've reached the stage. So I'll try to write 441 as a product of prime numbers. So if you know the prime numbers that can give you a product of 441, then you can write them. But if you don't know, you follow the steps I'm going to show you. So the first thing, I'm going to start looking at numbers that can go into 441. So we know 1 can go into 441, but we are not going to use 1, because when we divide 441 by 1, will give us the answer, which is 441, which will keep us rotating on the same point. So I'm going to look at the second prime number, which is, and 1. The other thing is 1 is not a prime number. Okay, 1 is not a prime number. That's another reason why we shouldn't even use 1. 1, it will just keep us rotating on the same point. Even if 1 was a prime number, it will keep us rotating on the same point. Then the other point is 1 is not a prime number, so we are not going to use 1. Instead, we're going to try to use 2. 2 is a prime number. It has only 2 factors. So can 2 go into 441? No, it will leave a remainder. We want to find a number that can go into 441 without leaving a remainder. So 2 will leave a remainder of 1. Okay, let's try 3. Can 3 go into 441? Yes, it can. So 3 can go into 441, so we are going to use 3. 3 can go into 241, so we're going to use 3. So we're going to say 3. How many times can 3 go into 441? It will go 147 times. So I'm going to, when you multiply 3 by 147, you're going to get the answer, which is 441. Okay, so which means we have written 441 as an expression, which is 3 multiplied by 147. Okay, now I found 3. 3 is a prime number, so we have managed to find one prime number. Okay, so I'm going to write it down. Then, is there any prime number that can go into 147? Okay, let's check 2. 2 will leave a remainder, but let's try 3. 3 can go there. It can go into 147, so we're going to write 3. So 3 into 147, it will go 49 times. Okay, now we have managed to find 3 prime numbers that can help us to come up with 441. If you multiply 3 by 3, will give you 6, or give you 9, sorry. 3 by 3 will give you 9, then 9 times 49 will give you 441. So I can write the 2 prime numbers I've found already, which is 3 by 3. Then, is there any number that can go into 49? A prime number. When we look at 2, 2 will leave a remainder. 3 also will leave a remainder of 1. Okay, we look at 5. I'm looking at prime numbers. If you don't know prime numbers, the list of prime numbers, you can check on our video where we looked at composite numbers and prime numbers. Then you will be able to tell the prime numbers. So 5 is our next prime number. 5 can go into 49, but we'll leave a remainder of 4, so we can't use 5. Let's check 7. 7 can go there. Okay, so we're going to use 7. 7 can go into 49 without leaving a remainder, so we're going to use 7. So we're going to write 7. Then when we divide 49 by 7, will give us 7. Okay, so 7 can go into 49 7 times. Now, as you can see, we have got now 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 7, which are all these numbers which are in the expression are prime numbers. 7 is a prime number, and 3 is a prime number because they have got only 2 factors, so they are prime numbers. Now, like this, we have expressed 441 as a product of prime numbers. If you multiply 3 by 3 will give you 9. 9 by 7 will give you 63. 63 by 7 will give you 441. So now we have expressed 441 as a product of prime numbers. So here I can say product of prime numbers. Now we have expressed 441 as a product of prime numbers. Okay, once we have done that, then which means we have done the first point, which is expressing the perfect square as a product of prime numbers. So we have done that. We have written 441 as a product of prime numbers. Now the next step is sort these prime numbers into 2 identical groups. So since we are looking for a square root, we are going to group these 4 numbers, prime numbers, which are 3, 3, 7, 7, into identical groups, or in groups that can give us the same product when we multiply the 2 numbers in the groups. So we are going to put these numbers in pairs to form 2 groups. So to do that, we're going to put 3 and 1 7 in one group, and another 3 with another 7 in another group. So what I mean is we are going to write it like this. Okay, so we have got 3 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 7. Okay, these are the 2 groups, and these are 2 identical groups are formed. Okay, so when you multiply these numbers in 2 groups, you'll find that the answer we are going to get will be the same. We are going to find the product which is the same. So let's try to find the product product of these numbers in brackets. So 3 by 3 will give us 21, then multiply by 3 by 3 will also give us 21, so multiply by 21. Now as you can see, we have gotten two answers which are the same. Okay, we have gotten 21, 21, so that means our groups were identical. Okay, the next step now is the square root of the perfect square is the product of any of the groups. So you write it as like the way I've written. So the square root of the perfect square is the product of any of the groups. So here now, as you can see, we've got 21, 21 there, which we have circled. So we can pick one of the 21s there. Is the square root of 441. So you write it as a square root of the given number. So we are going to pick 21 and write it as a square root of the given number. So we're going to write it as a square root of 441. So we're going to write 21 down there. We'll just pick 21, okay, and write it down. Okay, once we have done that, then the next thing we can do is we can write that therefore the square root of 441 is 21. So the square root of 441 is 21. Okay, so basically this is how you do it. This is how you find the square root of a perfect square. If you have got questions, you can ask in the comment section. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. It has been easy learning Z Mathematics. The future is bright. See you in the next video, and God bless you.